This build uses Hex to cast Doom with the Cowl of Malefic Torment. It's a basic skill build, so most of the damage comes from Dirge of Odium, right here. So we stack max resource everywhere, and if you have the mythic version, you can get well over a 300% damage multi just on the basic skills, which is further boosted by the helmet. So we're going to stack max resource everywhere, and because the Dirge of Odium drains our resources, we're also going to GA temper resource generation everywhere we can. As you can see right now, my Wrath is empty, but when I cast Warlock and use the Chains of Horizon set, it fills up pretty quick. That's because we're using the Wrath modifier right here on Doom. The one non-negotiable legendary aspect on the build is the aspect of Calamity. This gives us access to a bunch of huge critical strike damage multipliers, stacking crit chance per hex, and we're always hexing enemies. So the helmet will auto-cast Doom from Hex, and Hex is applied via Hell Fracture. But it's not, the damage isn't coming from Hell Fracture. And then you can cast Doom for supplemental damage as well, manually. What happens is, because we're using Chains of Horizon, it's just a self-perpetuating positive feedback loop of damage until the enemies are eventually executed. And since it's a basic build, we're using Pain Gorgers to echo our damage, which works out beautifully using Hell Fracture, which pulls enemies in. So all the hexed enemies are right there together, which has an echo from Pain Gorgers. The Hemat Stone, because we're using Command Warlock, and we'll get to him in a second, but you want to use Cooling Tuning Prisms until you get the Tidal utility aspect on this, which increases your max overpower stacks, which you get when you cast Command Warlock. The Ritualist Shard with the Twisted Fragment, this boosts our damage from overpower, which we get from Command Warlock, and then it allows our Occult Abyss skills to be empowered by Volatility, which gives us a super satisfying blast sound effect. Bam. 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 And that applies damage, which scales off of the skill ranks that we put into Doom. So stack skill ranks into Doom wherever you can. In the Chains of Horizon set, you got to reroll these until you get max resource on every single set piece. Preferably a GA, obviously, but settle for the standard affix until you get that. Remember, with the Dirge of Odium multiplier scaling off of our resource, we need to scale max resource. You can also stack that on your rings too, I believe, if you have room. And I've got it on my, well, never mind. This one right here, Banished Lord's Talisman, is super important because of the Calamity aspect. Doom can crit strike, so we're using this one. Onto the skill tree. Obviously, all our chips are in Doom. We've got the Echo modifier, the Wrath modifier for resource management, and the Contagion modifier because it spreads and it also does the most damage. Ignore the Command Fallen. Hell Fracture applies Hex, which applies Doom, and then you can also cast Doom manually for supplemental damage, which also works really well. And it also will not pull enemies in unless you have the Ruptured Abyss modifier on it. So you want that for all the crowd control to focus your echoes. Another step is our Evade. It brings our greater demons with us and gives us really good mobility and survivability. We're running the Prid rune, so we've got Dark Prison for survivability. We're running Infernal Breath with the Abyssal Torrent variant because this is the only greater demon skill that interacts with the Hexed status effect, and it also boosts our damage through the Chains of Horizon set. The Sigil of Chaos is going to help us apply Volatility and then boost our damage through the Ritualism legendary node on the Paragon board. We have Metamorphosis to help maintain Shadow Form stacks and damage, but a better option may be Apocalypse, the Abyssal variant, and then to get a modest damage boost from the Survivor damage side upgrade. But the ultimate skill is really not a huge choice on this build. We're running Eldritch Sight for vulnerable damage, Greater Hex because it's a Hex build, Demonologist, I'm going to switch this one out, Overmind for more Abyss damage, Destruction to stack damage with our Hex, Chaos because we're running Overpower on the build, Ritualism for a huge damage boost from just casting a Sigil skill, which grants our Volatility, and then the Occultist because we're using Overpower. Use Temerity or you'll die. Running Undying on the chest piece to help maintain Temerity, and then I've got a life on hit affix on my weapon, which I lose damage from, but hey, whatever. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, press that like button. If you like me, subscribe. Peace.